Welcome in, guys, to my NFL Week 2. Yeah, my NFL Week 2 recap. We're going to start off with a Thursday night game. We had the Vikings beating the Eagles, and the Eagles beating the Vikings. Go back with that again. The Eagles beating the Vikings on Thursday night at home to 34-28. Kirk Cousins had 31 out of 44 throws, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins had a pretty good game on Thursday night. You had Jalen Hurts had 18 throws out of 23, 193 yards, 1 touchdown. Swift had 28 carries, 175 yards, 1 touchdown. Vikings got 3 turnovers in this game, so their defense wasn't the best, but they got the job done. And really, the Vikings defense wasn't that good. But again, who can you blame? Then Brian Flores, he's the guy that's fucking he's the guy who, Brian Flores was going to be the guy that was going to mentor Tua Tagovailoa and make him a fucking franchise quarterback. He was never going to do that because Tua Tagovailoa, Brian Flores sucks as a head coach. You know, he's with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Now he's a defensive coordinator. No wonder they gave away 3 turnovers in this game. But again, the Eagles 2-0 now. Vikings are 0-2. You gotta think that secondary is a problem. Brian Flores needs to be fucking fired as a defensive coordinator. He sucks. And Kirk Cousins is not the right guy to Kirk Cousins shouldn't be starting in 2023. I'm sorry, but he should not be. You should have got yourself a quarterback in this draft or got somebody like Trey Lance. That's the problem. And then people say, "Oh, what about last year? It was 13 and what was it, 2 last year?" That papering over like how bad the other teams were. Like, you look at the other teams, how bad they were last season. You look how bad the Texans were. Look how bad the Bears were. Look how bad the Lions. Look how bad a couple of teams I just mentioned there that were really bad, and and some of them have invested really heavily. So it could have been one of those fluke kind of things where they got 13 wins. The Rams were shit last season, so it could have been one of those. To go into this season, everybody's kind of got, most of the teams that challenge kind of got all challenge for the Super Bowl, got their shit together. But anyway, the Eagles won on Thursday night. Then we go into the early Sunday games. We have the Bears. We have Bears football. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks, who are 1-0 going into this game on Sunday afternoon against the Bears, who are now 0-1. And again, the problem goes to, Justin Fields. Justin Fields, you've got to think Bears fans. I know there's a lot of hardcore Bears fans that will go, "Oh my god, Justin Fields is the guy, it's not his problem." Yes, much as Brian Poles is a great trade for Chase Claypool. Remember that? Oh, we're going to trade Chase Claypool for the 2nd round pick. Yay, how great was that? You bring in DJ Moore. You bring in Darnell Wright. And other people to help Justin Fields, especially in the trenches and with weapons around him. You get rid of Dave Montgomery and so many others to bring in DJ Moore, because that in return the Panthers will get that 1st round pick that the Bears had, because the Bears don't really need a 1st round pick. Also, that gives the Bears cap space for 2024, 2025, and 2026 with DJ Moore going to the Bears, and the Panthers getting that 1st round pick, getting Bryce Young. So, you look at this, they've actually invested in the offensive line. They've got weapons for Justin Fields. Justin Fields, again, you say Luke Getsy. Again, Luke Getsy's an idiot. It's like 3rd and 12, halfback down, running the ball. Again, this is... it's like just 1980s, 1990s Bears football. It's not about. That's why you won't win championships. You need to play 2023 football, which is like throwing the ball. And then Justin Fields got sacked 9 times in this game. He had 9 sacks on Justin Fields because, again, his pocket awareness wasn't there. Every time a guy was open, what I saw on Sunday was like he wasn't throwing it to the guy. Like, anytime a guy was open, he would never throw it. His vision, again, a lot of things was the problem at college from what happened. A lot of the problems and the red flags that Justin Fields had it in Ohio State a couple of years ago. It's showing right now in the Bears, like his pocket, his lack of pocket awareness. He is one of the worst passers of one of the worst passers as a quarterback in the NFL. His pocket awareness, his vision on the field to find out when he's in trouble and when he can sense danger and all this stuff. He is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFC North. I'm sorry, and my quarterback is Jared Goff, and I'm saying that again. He threw for 16 out of 29, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You had Baker Mayfield threw for 26 out of 34. This is a former first-round pick, Baker Mayfield, the guy that the Browns didn't want, that the Rams desperately needed last year because they had no quarterback, and now he's in Tampa Bay. This is a former first-round pick, Baker Mayfield, that in the last 6-7 years has been going to team after team after team because nobody wants it because he's not a good NFL quarterback. He threw for 317 yards. Again, whose great decision was that, Brian Post, to hire Matt Eberflus, the guy that actually coached one of the worst Colts defenses in 2021. Yeah, that's a great decision. No, let's not hire a offensive-minded coach that's actually going to help the young man. Let's get a defensive-minded coach. Hey. But anyway, the Bucs win 27-17. The Bucs didn't have to be that good either because again, the Bears were just that bad. But ultimately, it was 17-27. Bucs get the win. They're 2-0 now, and they get the job done. Then we go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs going into this after that loss to the Lions last week. They bounced back with a 17-9 win to the Jags. Mahomes threw for 29 out of 41 yards. 29 for 41. Yeah, 29 for 41 throws, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pacino had 12 carries and 170 yards, and the Chiefs are off the run for the season. Then we had the Packers versus the Falcons, and this was a tight game going into this. Both teams are not at their best; they could be better. Raider versus Jordan Love. 24-25, the Falcons get the win. Jordan Love threw for 14 for 25, 151 yards. Ridder had 19 throws out of 32, 237 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Dillon had 15 carries. Bijan Robinson had 19 carries and 124 yards. He had a decent game as well. And the Falcons are now 2-0 as we start, going into week 3. I talked about the Seahawks-Lions game. Not going to talk about it because I did a video on that separately, so you can go back and watch that. Chargers versus Titans, 24-27. Again, I said this last week. Why is Ryan Tannehill starting this game? Why? You drafted in the past 2 seasons, the past 2 off seasons, you've drafted Malik Willis and Will Levis. And none of them started on Sunday. Why the fuck are we starting a fucking mid at best quarterback in Ryan Tannehill over the guy that you picked in the second round in a Will Levis, and then last year in the third round you didn't even want to go for Malik Willis in this game? They would have been better options than Ryan Tannehill. But anyway, the Titans got the win 24-27. They got the job done in the end. Then we had the Ravens versus the Bengals in a division game. The Ravens defeated the Bengals. And again, this is kind of what happened kind of the last couple of years now. Especially the last 2 seasons, 2022 and now 2023, is where you look at the Bengals. They're recently, in the last 2 seasons, they've started 2-0. Last year, they was 2-0 going into week 3. And then this, after the week 2, they're now 2-0. They lost 27-24. Burrow didn't have the best of games. Lamar Jackson threw for 24 to 33, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Burrow threw for 27 out of 41 yards, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Edwards got 10 carries, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. And then they get the Rams on primetime next week. So good luck with that, guys. Then the Raiders defeat the Bills. Bounced back from last week and beat the Raiders 30-38. The Colts defeated the Texans 31-20. This was Anthony Richardson versus C.J. Strauss. Then we had the 49ers to beat the Rams 30-23. We had the Jets defeat Yeah, the Cowboys beat the Jets 10-30, so that win last week they had over the Bills is over. Zach Wilson, imagine if Rodgers was in that game. Rodgers versus Prescott. They've had a couple of good games over the years, but it was Wilson and Dak Prescott on Sunday. Then we have Giants versus the Cardinals. How good is that hire of Gannon? That head coaching hire of Gannon from the former defensive coordinator from the Eagles. How good is that? Cardinals fans. But the Giants had a great comeback, winning 30-28. Great comeback for the Giants, 31-28. And I'm happy for Brian Dabble. I'm a fan of his work. Then we had the Commanders versus Denver. The Commanders get to win 28-24. Then we get the Dolphins versus the Patriots. One thing I did like about this in prime time is that halftime came. You have Mike McDaniel having a interview, talking about how you're going to change the game second half. He talks, does his little thing, his little interview with ESPN, and he starts running. And then he's like sprinting down, like, oh my god, I gotta get to the team. I'm like, I fucking love this man. I fucking love Mike McDaniel. And, you know, people say, oh, he's corny, he's goofy, he's an idiot. Yes, he acts like an idiot. Yes, he's goofy, but he gets his players. People are gonna die for him. He's kind of like a Dan Campbell in a way where he kind of gets stupid sometimes for stuff he does. He has some funny moments, but like I said, the players, the roster is dying for him, and they're gonna die to play for him. And that's what you like. That's what you want to see in a team. Is that a head coach and their team is all singing on the right tune and everything like that. But the Dolphins won 24-17, and that was a division game between the Dolphins and the Patriots. Then we had the Saints versus the Panthers. The Saints win. Thompson got an injury. And again, this was the first time the Panthers had a primetime game in 5 years on Monday night. My thing with this game is that the pocket presence for Bryce Young needs to be addressed. His pocket awareness wasn't the best last night. You could see him sometimes, like, there's people coming in and he needs to really improve his footwork a bit, in my opinion. But the Saints are now 2-0 now, and that's the first time in 10 years that they've gone 2-0 in a regular season. Then we go to the other Monday night game with the Skid Marks of Browns versus the Steelers, a divisional game. The Steelers win 26-22. Could you not do this again? I picked the Browns to get for the picks for the spread, and they didn't even get their job done. This fucking Skid Marks. I'm not picking them next week. 22-26. Steelers get the first win of the year, and I gotta say, Matt Canada fucking sucks as a offensive coordinator. He needs to be fired. It's a question of who is the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL. Is it Luke Getsy with Justin Fields, or is it Matt Canada with Kenny Pickett? You can have your choice, but I'm going to say both need to be fired.